Good afternoon. Today is Thursday, September the 14th. The time right now in Singapore is 12:10 in the afternoon. And overnight, we have seen the release of the U.S. Consumer Price Index, or the CPI. On a month-on-month basis, there was no surprise. But on a year-on-year basis, especially on the core CPI, meaning to say if you take out the food and energy component, it has actually gone up from 3.2% to 3.7%. So that is a marked increase in inflation. So that is going to be laying the basic groundwork for whether the Fed is going to hike interest rates when they meet next week between the 19th and 20th. Market expectation is that they may not want to hike interest rates this month, but however, into the November period, there is another thing that we will have to talk about depending on the data that's coming in. So the market basically has actually reacted, especially in currency markets, but we can see that the equity markets has basically been very, very flat. They take it in the chin. Whereas the Dow Jones itself, basis the Dow Jones Micro E-mini futures, we can see that there's hardly any change. Market is still below 35,000. And again, this is an area where previously the market has actually came under selling pressure. By and large, I still maintain that there is still the potential for the market to actually go higher beyond 35,200, perhaps into the 35,400 to 35,700 range, because the structure suggests that there could be possibly some more upside left in this market. However, that cannot be said for the other equity index. We can see that the S&P 500, in the micro E-mini S&P 500, we can see that the index itself has already traced out a three-wave symmetrical three-wave rally. So technically, there could be the corrective rally that we are talking about, and this could mark the end of the entire structure unless this pattern here ends up quite differently. But for now, I'm still going to maintain that the market is more likely to come off than to go up. And right now, the market is probably going to go back into this area about 4,534 to 4,560 levels. And we want to see if there's going to be any downward pressure coming in from this range. And if it does, then the next important barrier, or rather support, is probably going to be concentrated around 4,415 to 4,430 levels. So again, between these two barriers, we will have to see what happens over the balance of this week itself. And over in the Nasdaq composite, we can see Nasdaq is still charging a little bit higher as we are speaking in the electronic trading session. In the micro E-mini futures itself, we can see the prices are basically still trying to go higher at 15,006 and a quarter, 625 and a 0.5. So basically, this is not far away from the high that we saw at the beginning of this month itself. So again, this bracket of prices is going to be crucial. I do believe that this area is going to be an area where the sellers will probably re-emerge again, and that barrier is 15,540 to 15,727 levels. So again, we are going to see how the market reacts going into the balance of the week. Downside support is likely to be around 15,000 levels, and then we will see. Okay, and over in Hong Kong, we can see that Hong Kong has been very flat. The low so far is 17,844 in the futures contract. The top side is also very limited, but I think the market is going to be very, very consolidative between the high end of 18,300 to 600 levels, and the bottom is at 17,800 to 18,000 even levels. So between the two of them, it's going to be very, very narrow trading range going forward unless we get new impetus in the market. Over in the Nikkei itself, Nikkei this morning have a run-up in prices. We can see prices now is in within this 32,840 to 33,000 even, which I have previously mentioned to be an area of potential selling interest. So the high so far this morning at midday is 32,900. Again, we will have to see what happens in the afternoon. Now, this area represents this gap that was opened up on between September 27th. And so we can see that this gap actually is possibly where the vacuum is. We will see what happens over here. Okay. And over in the dollar itself, we should say dollar basically came off unexpectedly this morning with a gap down. Not sure what is the reason behind this, but the market actually managed to rally to 105 even, and it closed around the 107.74 and on 104.74 levels. But this morning there was a gap down. I have to find out what is the reason for the dollar to gap down. But for the time being, this area is likely to be holding out the 104 levels. So do watch out for some kind of support coming in at 104 to 104.20 levels. That will represent the immediate support. However, if we take the equality move, there's potential for the market to go down even lower to 103.80 to 103.50 levels. Again, this could be the secondary support levels. So again, do watch out. Okay. And in the euros, we can see that because of the dollar come off, there is potential for the euro dollar to actually bump up above 107.70, which is likely to be an area of resistance. This area 107.70 to 108.10 levels is possibly the first layer of resistance going forward. And over in the sterling, we can see sterling actually has a rundown to 124.30, and now we have a bit of elevated. I think the price is trying to go back to above 25 even. And even if it can do that, even beyond the 125.50 levels, I think this first barrier of a resistance which is going to be about 125.60 to 125.75 levels. Again, I think there will be so many layers of resistance that you will have to punch through each one of them, which is not going to be an easy task. Over in the Aussie, we can see the Aussie has actually managed to hold up very well. In fact, this morning we have a marginal high, and currently where we are trading right now, the high traded this morning is at 0.6454, which is marginally higher than the previous high here traded on Monday. So again, we will have to see how the market reacts. In the meantime, I think the market has the potential to go up to test the 0.6520. If we take an equality measurement here, assuming this is all the market can do overnight. Let's see if we can get some kind of equality move. Yes, equality move will bring us back to 0.6530. So it's just going to be marginally above this high here. So there is a quite real possibility market may do a fake move here. But so top side is quite limited. So if you're not already bought, it all depends on individual. But I'm likely not going to go for it because it's quite limited in scope. And over in dollar yen has not really reacted in any big way. And the market basically covered this gap that we saw on Monday. Okay. So the high traded last night was 147.75, and this morning it has been basically after covering this gap, market probably will be coming off. And again, if we do an equality move, very likelihood the low here that we saw at 145.90 will be tested one more time. In fact, it may be exceeded marginally. So based on this, okay, let me see. I will going to change this to equality move instead of hang on. Equality move is going to bring it here. Yeah. So equality move is probably going to be at 145.77 or as low as 145.30. So downside is if you want to go for a scalping trade, you may try. I think market momentum is favoring the downside, at least for the short term, to take out the 145.90 levels going forward. Over in dollar Canadian, you can see that dollar Canadian continue to be weakening, and overnight low is at 1.3520, and this low may be challenged one more time. I always suspected that this area at 134.90 to 135.20 could offer some kind of immediate support here. And over in precious metals, or rather we don't go into precious metal, we go into crude oil first. Okay, crude oil has been struggling, but we have a marginal high last night at $89.64. By and large, this market is still very bullish. I think the target is probably going to be at $92 to as high as $93.74. No point buying at this level around. And if you're not already bought, I suspect the nearby support is going to be concentrated about $85.50 to $86. So not quite of a not much of a potential unless prices can come into this bracket of prices. In the meantime, just watch. Over in precious metals, gold continuing to edge lower to test the 1900 levels to a low on 1905.30 cents, and this is sitting just at the edge of where I think the demand is. The area between 1,897 to 1,905.50 cents is likely to offer some kind of support, and it did offer some support on the initial try here. Let's see what if it can actually hold up, because the top side may actually rally back to 1,935 at the minimum. Over in silver is also coming down as we are speaking. Right now, do we have a marginal low? The low so far is $22.74. Yes, we do have a marginal low compared to yesterday. So $27.44 is the current low here, and this is an area of possible support. $22.60 to $22.86 is possibly where the market may actually hold out. In the event if it doesn't, obviously the next focus will be on the June low at $22.11. By and large, it is still a market to buy, but whether it can hold out at the current bench of prices remains to be seen. If it can, that would be great. And over in Bitcoin, we can see that the Bitcoin has actually rebounded or extended its rebound to a high of 26,581 this morning. And if we can retrace back 50% of this entire rise from 24,962, I think the area between 25,770 cents could be, I don't know, $25,770 can be an area of possible entry here. So if you have the idea that the market has already found its bottom. So again, we will have to see what happens. In the meantime, you take care and I'll come back to you tomorrow with another update. Bye-bye.